But why is it that they link Islam and terrorism? Whenever there's a terrorist activity, the first thing that comes in mind that the terrorist was probably a Muslim. Is it us to be blamed for the fact that our religion has been linked with terrorism, or there's something wrong going on?
I think the media, American media, has a role to play. So, for example, I remember even in the 70s, I was living in England. There were a lot of violence between the Irish and the British government. So the Irish would actually place bombs in London, the subways, etc. But we never heard the term Catholic terrorists or Protestant terrorists. We heard Irish terrorists. But when Muslims do it, suddenly becomes Islamic terrorists. Similarly with the bomb, when India developed it, it was a bomb. But when Pakistan did, it was an Islamic bomb. It's as if even a bomb has got a religion now. So what I'm saying is, the media has got its own agenda. At the same time, I think the behavior of certain Muslims has not helped the image either. These questions of the few terrorists who are perpetrating terror in the name of Islam. At the same time also, we have to realize that American foreign policy in terms of what they're doing in Israel, in terms of different parts of the Middle East, have all increased this awareness of Muslims as the perpetrators of terrorism, which is not true. But, this is how Americans want to portray it.
So it is the media, it is American media or the West media that's to be blamed because they link it, they label it with Muslims, with Islam.
They always do that, unfortunately. And as I said, when others commit acts of terror, when we've had so many Christians commit, most of the mass killings in America, for example, are not done by Muslims. Yet it is never associated with the religion. The guy who killed over more than 50 people in Las Vegas, there was never a question of whether he was a Christian or whatever religion he espoused. It was more like he was insane and etc. So religion is only brought in when it comes to Islam.
Well, we all know that Islam is a religion of peace. That's the first thing. If you know a bit about Islam, you learn it, that Islam is a religion of peace. How did this extremism penetrated somehow, somewhere in few Muslims?
First of all, I would like to say that हम खुद ही मुसलमान वो beauty or peace के बात में बहुत कम बात करते हैं. We hardly ever talk about beauty and peace in Islam. In fact, there is a very beautiful hadith from the Prophet ﷺ when he says, Allahu jamilun wa yuhibbul jamal. God is beautiful and He loves beauty. And when you look at the Quran itself, the Quran clearly says, kataba rahma ala nafsi, that Allah has written rahmah on Himself. In other words, wherever there is Allah, there is rahmah. And I always say that absence of rahmah in a human being shows absence of God. Because if Allah is there in a person's heart, then he will be overflowing with rahmah. These are things that we need to explain not only to Muslims, lekin ghair Musliman ko bhi, that we need to explain to them. For different political reasons, for different reasons which are associated with geopolitics, some Muslims, a group of Muslims have turned into terrorism, or they feel the only way that they can fight back is with their bodies, because they do not have the tanks, they do not have the weaponry to match other countries.
So they go up to an extreme.
Exactly. At the same time, I think that certain sectors of the Muslim leadership also, instead of discouraging them, they've actually encouraged them. We're talking of self-styled, self-proclaimed religious leaders who suddenly become sheikhs overnight or become, alim overnight. And that has encouraged these extremist tendencies, because they have been promised, so to speak, that agar kisi ko maroge to jannat aapko milega, that you'll get heaven.
The wrong concepts that they teach them.
Absolutely. Whereas the Quran says the opposite. You kill one innocent being, you've killed the whole of humanity. You save one human being. It doesn't say Muslim being. It says, man ahyaha faqad ahya an-nasa jami'a. That you've saved one soul, you have saved the whole of humanity.
So you mentioned the beauty of Islam. We do not really talk about the beauty of Islam. What actually is the concept of the beauty of Islam?
The
if
beauty
you could
of
please
Islam,
elaborate that more.
Yes, yes. अच्छी बात है कि we don't understand that Allah, the beauty emerges from Allah Himself. As I mentioned, the hadith, very famous God is beautiful. Allahu Jamil wa yuhibbul jamal. He loves beauty. And that beauty is pervasive in the Quran, in the sense that wherever you see the word husn, ihsan, muhsin, it shows beauty, because the word husn is beautiful. So to start with, not only is Allah beautiful in Islam, even the names of Allah are very beautiful. We call it Asma'ul Husna. In other words, the most beautiful names of Islam. Even the creation itself is beautiful. So we see that everything that Allah has created is beautiful, the mountains, the rivers, the lakes, etc. And perhaps the most beautiful thing that Allah has created is us human beings. We are an image, if you like, of Allah. We are not Allah, of course, but we represent Him. We are khulafa, the khalifas of Allah. It is also important to remember there is another wonderful hadith from the Prophet ﷺ when he said that Allah has made you beautiful, now you make your character beautiful. That بُعِثُّ لِيُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمُ الْأَخْلَاقِ, Allah, the Prophet said that I have been sent to perfect the morals and manners. So in other words, our beauty is to reflect the inner beauty. And I think that when we look at the Quran, you'll see this concept of beauty coming through again and again and again. There's a very powerful verse in the Quran in which Allah says, وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. That do beautiful things because Allah has made you beautiful. In other words, our outer beauty should reflect the inner beauty. The more compassion we show, the closer we get to the one who showed us compassion in the first place. The more merciful we are, the more Allah will show us mercy. It's quite unique, actually. This is something that only happens in the Muslim tradition, that we never name our children in English after names of beauty or handsome. We never call somebody Mr. Handsome or Miss Beautiful. But we do it in the Islamic tradition. We call somebody Hassan or Hussein. That means beautiful. Or we call our daughters Jamila or Ziba, pretty. Because these are not just adjectives, they are actually attributes. They are things that we are supposed to personify and objectify in our behavior.
So whenever we talk about Islam or the way the West is actually distorting Islam, how do you see like the Muslim all across the world from different countries? Do you see the reason being us divided, or do you see any kind of unity among Muslims all across the world?
I think this is one of the great tragedies of the modern times, that Muslims are so disunited. Very frankly, they cannot even agree on the day of Eid, as you are aware. Yeah. There are sometimes in one house somebody is fasting, the other person is feasting in the same house. So there is an issue, I think, of leadership. There is a crisis of leadership within the Muslim community, division within the